All right, Emil, we're getting closer and closer every day with this thing. If you want, come around here and I'll show you how this starter works. Well, I just had it rebuilt the other day by a friend of mine, and this thing, this engine I'm finding out is a 60 or 61 by the location of the distributor. And the starter, the way you activated the solenoid, this rod, there was a bar that fit across here that pivoted, and you used your foot and you pushed this down like that, and it activated the solenoid. Well, because of the way the cab's going to be on this thing, we're not able to do that. So what we decided to do was to take this rod and extend it out into the cab, and then use our hand to press it and just use it to start it. So when I first got this starter, it would barely turn the engine over, and I thought, oh man, I'm in trouble. This thing is seized up inside. So I carried it to that guy. He redid it. He said it was horrible inside. It's been sitting 40, 45 years. So he cleaned it up, got it together, and what I did, in order to check it out, I put it on, and I've got it running to a battery over there, and I got the negative cable hooked up to the bolt on the bottom of the starter. Now this engine, I was told it was built as a racing engine, and this thing has got some kind of compression to it, and it's unbelievable how much noise it makes. The plugs are all out. I've been turning it over periodically, getting it loosened up. But I'll show you how it starts, and listen to the way this thing sounds. And the thing that really odd, I'm going to put my finger over it, over where the plug goes in a small block, V8, it blows out, then there's a pause. This thing feels like it's blowing out every time it comes up. I've never experienced this, but listen to how it sounds. And
it feels like a fan over here. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I say. The compression that it's got way over here, I've never felt that much air come out of an engine, but this thing is going to be interesting when we crank it up.
Wow.
And it was in gear the first time I tried it, and it moved forward. So we've determined the transmission works. I don't know how good it is, if it's going to make a lot of noise, but we run it through all 4 gears. It's a 3-speed, reverse, first, second, third, and it does everything the way it's supposed to. And my nephew Kenny Eastman bought it for me, and I paid him for it. I don't want to think it give to me, because that guy, okay, that's another story. So he bought this with the shifter for $55 that the Sumter swap meet. I called a guy that rebuilds these. He wants, for one of these 3-speed Chevrolet transmissions, $950. He said, because you can't find them anymore. Second gear is tore out of them from being in race cars, people jamming them into second gear. And he says you can find every part for this transmission except second gear. And he said he didn't even know if he could piece one together with what he's got around there. So that was pretty much here. I got the new drive shaft in it. The brakes are all in the back. The fuel pump's on it. The brake line is running up here, and we're going to put the cab on it this coming week. We've got most of the roughed in Bondo done on it, and we got another couple, 2-3 days to rough it in. Then we'll put it on here, position it, figure out where the shifter's going to be, where the brake pedals, the master cylinders, and everything's going. And it will fit on here. Then we'll take it off and do the finished Bondoing and finish work on it. But the traction bars, I bought these up at Moultrie, and every time I see a set of old traction bars, I buy them because eventually I use them. But get $35 for them, homemade, and they'll work. What happens, I got a little bar across here with a bumper on this, and it'll come up and stop the rear end from doing this. So that's the next welding project. I don't know, did we go over the slave cylinder that I put on it?
Oh, we did the
Okay.
notching and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a new addition to the shop, though. We're going to talk about this, right?
Was that the fenders?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the front fenders. This is the front, obviously the driver's side, the left front fender. And they were both beat up pretty bad. They got rivets all down through here that I got to cut. I haven't started on this one, but if you run your hand across it, there's a bump there. There's a big bump here. There's a hole here. And this is going to take them all down the side. It was beat up. I don't know how. You can feel it. It just like a roller coaster going down there. So I'll eventually get to that. Big bump there. And here, there's a huge dent. You can see it goes right like this. That's got to come out. But this fender's relatively solid. It's not rusted real bad. You see back here, this one's got a little rust on it, and there's no rust in here. This has a little rust. But I'm figuring out this thing, when it's set and leaned on its right side, because everything on the right side was worse than on the left side. This is the right side fender, and this was rotted out probably about like that. This was all gone. I had to go back in and rebuild it. This was gone. It was rotted out all the way up here.
I see all that new metal in there. Okay.
Yeah. And then I've been working on it a little bit at a time, but there's still a lot of bumps and stuff in here. I just got 2 coats on it. This first one, and then this was the second one. And I'll do it as I get a little bit of time. But coming out here to the body, we're getting it closer and closer, and I'm going to replace the visor, and I've got metal built for it, and I had it crimped over where it makes it rigid, but we'll take and cut someplace in here, we've determined, and then put this in here and leave a lip down like this where we can tack weld it across here, and it'll be fit right in here to right in here someplace. So then it'll be straight. This one, this visor, every time we tried to straighten it, you can see where it broke loose here, and it wasn't worth messing with, so we're just going to cut it off. We finally done all the welding on it. We got this fixed, and again, we got to come back in and do the finished Bondo. Like, this is a drip rail, and it's made out of Bondo because everything was gone. You can't get them for it, and the threshold, it's new. Almost this whole car, the original car is from here down. This is another one from here like this. The door in here is the original car. The doors are original, but in the last couple of videos you saw where we cut the tops off and put the tops on the other doors. So we're getting closer every day. This was the windshield frame. And at one time I had thoughts of redoing it, and then when I got to looking at it, it's way beyond redoing. So I'm going to have to build one, and I'm not going to build all this intricate stuff in it. What I'm going to do is put the glass in, then I'll make just an outside shell of that and glue it in too, because it never come out.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. We're coming right along, and if you want to walk out in front of me, we'll look at the other project.
Okay.